Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica. Honorable Peter Saint-Jean, Mr. Saint-Jean, Minister of Education. Other ministers of government, we have Honorable Julius Timothy, Minister of Health. Honorable Colin McIntyre, Minister of Trade and Diaspora Affairs. Chief of Police, Mr. Daniel Carbon. Permanent Secretary, Mr. Nicholas Bruno of the Ministry of National Security, Labour and Immigration. Mr. Matthew Libler, Labour Commissioner, and is sitting in for the PS due to certain circumstances. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, principal and staff and students from the Jones Bopier Primary School, villagers, gazetted officers, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Minister of National Security, Labour and Immigration, the Chief of Police and other gazetted officers stationed here in LaPlaine, I extend a warm welcome to all who are here to witness this groundbreaking ceremony, which will mark the commencement of construction of a new police station and magistrate court in LaPlaine. We deeply appreciate the support of the residents of LaPlaine and the Eastern District for the tremendous patience exhibited as we waited for this moment. We are extremely delighted that the government of Dominica has embarked on this construction of this facility at a time when safety and security is considered to be at a high priority. Ladies and gentlemen, while it has taken some time to reach this stage, this is a true manifestation that all efforts for the sake of the welfare, care and protection of the citizens of LaPlaine community is highly considered by the government of the day. It is well established that the preservation and maintenance of the rule of law and the legitimate peace functioning of the state resides fully in the effectiveness and efficiency of the police force and the judicial system, by extension. This strategically located police station and the magistrate courts improve the ability of these agencies to maintain a stable and peaceful environment in our beloved country. I must hasten to add that the demand for security today is at its highest peak as it fosters the environment for economic growth in any society. In that regard, stability and security of tenure can be considered as paramount to nation building. Therefore, the largely agriculturally based communities of LaPlaine, Grand Forks, Mount John, Rivière Syriac and Rosalie Bay will, with a population of approximately 5,000, stands to benefit from that initiative. These communities have recently begun diversifying into tourism as a means of improving the socio-economic status of its people. This new building will certainly boost the morale of the police officers as their living and working condition will be improved greatly, thus maximizing the efficiency of the police officers in their daily routine, simultaneously improving the quality of life for the people of this area. Inevitably, upon completion of this structure, it will be well maintained and I'm sure it will not be vandalized. And it is my hope that this building will be well taken care of. Permit me to re-emphasize that this edifice heightens the level of security, which will help in establishing peace, tranquility for the East and by extension Dominica. Once again, may I welcome you here and hope the police will continue to collaborate and strengthen the bond of friendship in the community at large. In conclusion, I want to wish everyone a very happy independence as we focus on the theme, One Mission, One Dominica, celebrating 35. And indeed, with this in mind at this juncture, I wish to invite to the podium Mr. Matthew Libler, who is sitting in for Mr. Nicholas Bruno, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Ministry of National Security, Labour and Immigration, to give some brief remarks. Mr. Libla.
Thank you very much, Mr. Irish. Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, Honorable Peter St. Jean, Minister for Education, Sports, Youth Affairs, and also the parliamentary representative of the LaPlaine constituency. I understood that Mrs. St. Jean is here. Also, I would like to recognize her. Honorable Julius Timothy, Minister of Health, Honorable Colin McIntyre, Minister for Trade, Diaspora, Small and Micro Businesses, Chief of Police, Mr. Daniel Carbon, Reverend Father Favalier, and not Fevrier. Villagers, school teachers, school students, police officers, the media, a very pleasant good afternoon to all of you. I am very pleased to offer some brief remarks on behalf of Mr. Nicholas Bruno, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of National Security, Immigration and Labour, who is in fact present with us this afternoon, but whose voice is challenged and is unable to do so. Policing is one of the most important parts of criminal justice system. The police play an important role in the matters related to law and order. Detecting and preventing crime remains the main role of the police officers. It is therefore important to ensure that officers are provided with the required resources to accomplish this difficult task. The Ministry of National Security, Labour and Immigration, in its quest to maintain law and order, has attempted to provide the resources and facilities required for the police service to execute its mandate. The police station is the basic unit of police administration in any district, and its absence is generally used by the community to mourn the lack of police visibility in their communities. The previous police station was abandoned in the early 1990s, as many of us can recall, due to structural defects. It should be noted that a contingent of police officers have continued to service the LaPlaine district from rented property. This rented property, however, lacked the requisite facilities for the efficient delivery of policing services. It has been long established that a police station serves to accommodate police officers. It houses the administration and operational staff, a detention facility, record center, and serves as the base of support and operations for the members of the police department. More importantly, however, it serves as an accessible point of contact for citizens to consult and associate with police officers. And this, of course, is a very strong tendency and trend as we seek to promote community policing. It is in fact very important to have this sort of area of convergence. The new police station was designed and will be supervised by the Technical Services Division of the Ministry of Public Works, Energy and Ports. The lower level of the two-story main building will house the administrative offices, the holding cells, and the magistrate court. The living quarters for both male and female officers are located on the top floor. A separate building to house the inspector will also be constructed. This new facility, which will be constructed on the premises where the previous police station was located, will usher in facilities specially designed to provide the effective accommodation and facilities required for the efficient dispensation of law enforcement services. The firm of A.K. Henderson Limited was awarded the contract to the tune of $3,244,137. The expected construction period is 47 weeks. Funding for the project was acquired through a government loan. The Ministry of National Security, Labour and Immigration wishes to place on record the efforts of the Ministry of Public Works, Energy and Ports, and the Ministry of Finance for the effort extended toward the development of the project. I thank you all, and I wish that the building, of course, will accomplish the goal that it was meant to accomplish, to bring the LaPlaine community together. Thank you, everybody.
And I'm extremely happy that, of course, this new edifice is coming on stream, because as you would have heard from the historical perspective, it's in excess of 20 years since the building really was, was derelict. And we are very happy that at least at this stage in the juncture of on the life of our police service that we're getting this sort of facility. And I think Mr. Peter Seja, who is the representative for this area, I think is extremely delighted, I'm sure, at this situation, as I think we have long waited for this. And at this moment, it gives me pleasure in welcoming Honorable Peter Seja, Parliamentary Representative and Minister of Education, to the program.
Thank you very much, Chair. Let me first recognize the presence of the Honorable Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit. I wish also to recognize my cabinet colleagues who are here present, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security, Mr. Bruno, Chief of Police, Mr. Matthew LeBlanc, Labor Commissioner, Father Favalier, Parish Priest, the Chair of the LaPlaine Village Council. I wish in a very special way to recognize the rank and file of the Dominica Police Force here present, and indeed the principal, members of staff, students of Jones Bopier School, residents of LaPlaine, and I think I noticed a few residents of Delis and Buetica. A pleasant good afternoon to all. I note that I am here to give welcome remarks. Let me begin by saying that when LaPlaine was first inhabited by the Caribs, it was called Kuliru. As time passed, the Europeans invaded this part of the country, and the French settled here in Kuliru, and realizing the plateau-like nature of the community in direct contrast to the surrounding villages, they named it LaPlaine, meaning the plain. I wish at this very moment to welcome every one of you to LaPlaine, or the LaPlaine constituency, and more specifically to the village of LaPlaine, a community which is fanned by the constant sea breeze from the Atlantic Ocean, which is home to roughly 1,500 residents. And it serves as the nerve center of the southeastern community, villages stretching from Buetica and Delis in the south to Monjon, Rivière-Siric, and Grand Fond to the north. I wish at this moment to extend a special welcome to the LaPlainians who are resident overseas and have joined us here for the observance of our 35th anniversary of independence. I wish to note here that about 35 years ago, or 34 years ago, the plot of land to our immediate right housed the LaPlaine police station. And on the 29th day of July, 1979, that police station received a battering from the winds of Hurricane David. Sorry? 29th August. Since then, the officers had tremendous difficulty putting up in that building, and a few years later, the LaPlaine police station was abandoned. Now, this police station serves the areas of Grand Fond, Monjon, Rivière-Siric, LaPlaine, and Boetica. And since the abandonment of that building, the officers who have served in this area have been like nomads, taking residence firstly at the old LaPlaine Health Center, if my memory serves me correct, and then they moved to that building right in front of me, Murphy-Knox building. They then moved to Raphael Pascal's, or Mr. Box building, residence. And then finally, they moved to the house of Mr. Charles Matthew, where they are currently located. During all of this, of course, the whole issue was accommodation for the court building. So the court building was located firstly in the old dental unit that has been demolished, and then to the building that houses the LaPlaine Village Council, the complex building. And finally, the courthouse was moved to the LaPlaine Agricultural Station, or Center. Well, by all respects, 34 years is indeed a very long period. And during this period, we have witnessed the rise and fall of 6 prime ministers and 4 administrations. Yet, LaPlaine and the surrounding communities remain without a building that, like the primary school building or the health center behind me and other important community buildings, the police never had a place that they could proudly call their home. 34 years. It is therefore little wonder that all the children of primary school age, to those individuals who are about 40 years, who reside in LaPlaine, they have been convinced by some who neither have the will or the ability to do anything productive. They have been convinced by these that there is nothing good in a police station for LaPlaine. So that unfortunately, the younger generation associate the construction of a police station here in LaPlaine as somewhat of a monster that will terrorize the young people, an unnecessary evil. But while it is true that LaPlaine and the neighboring communities are relatively peaceful and are generally untouched by the whole issue of violence, the safety and security of the residents and visitors cannot be compromised. Furthermore, the Dominican Labour Party believes that the men and women who serve in the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force and the public service, by extension, must do so with a level of comfort and within a safe and conducive environment that allows for maximum output. I believe that it is armed with this knowledge and conviction that the Cabinet of the Commonwealth of Dominica sought the approval of the Parliament for some $3 million for the construction of this brand new LaPlaine police station. My friends, this comes at a time when major world economies are finding it most difficult to finance major capital projects and even to sustain their all-important social programs. And if you follow the news over the past 16 days, you would have heard of what was happening in the United States of America. It is against this backdrop that the Labour government is delivering on a promise that was made to the people of LaPlaine and surrounding communities over a prolonged period, this new police station. I want us to remember here in LaPlaine the challenges, the difficulties that we have faced over a considerable period of time. And it is no secret that over the past 3 or so years, this constituency has benefited as never before in the history of the LaPlaine constituency. While some elements within the constituency appear to be fitted with what I would call politically opaque lenses, glasses, which prevent them from seeing the developments that are taking place here in the LaPlaine constituency. Over the past 3 years, this constituency has benefited from massive investments. And just to name a few, $2.8 million was invested in a brand new water project, water supply for the communities of Dalis and Whitaker. This constituency, all 3 villages of Dalis, Whitaker and LaPlaine now have a much improved in-village road network. One that has now created access to areas which were once impassable even by pedestrians. And of course, we can speak of the housing assistance to needy families. And over the past month, no less than 33 families have just benefited from housing assistance in Dalis, Whitaker and LaPlaine. And of course, driving into LaPlaine from whichever direction that you came, we recognize there's still some work to be done on the southern access into LaPlaine, but one will recognize a massive improvement in the state of the main road. In fact, only recently we spent $1.2 million for the upgrade of the Dalis main road. And of course, everyone in LaPlaine, Dalis and Whitaker will remember with a sense of pride the launch of the Yes We Care program here in this constituency that has come to the aid of more than 23 elderly citizens who in most cases lived in near abandonment. And if nothing comes to mind, you will agree with me that the school transport system, the assistance to your children within the constituency, the support that we give to them is unparalleled in every respect. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to inform that the Labour administration, when we make a promise, we deliver on that promise. And I recall growing up as a young boy in LaPlaine. Please note that I grew up in Plaisance. I was born in Casgory and grew up in Plaisance. And I've been resident in Balisier for the past 29 years. Growing up in LaPlaine, I recall the days when we experienced tremendous hardship. The days when LaPlaine, when Dalis, Whitaker, Monjon and Rivière-Séric, we were not able to speak like the other communities or people from the other communities around Dominica. and we were tagged, we were branded as being Jean Auvent. Today, I want to say to you, the people of Delis, Boetica, LaPlaine, Monjon, Rivière-Syriac, and Grand Fond, the days of Auvent are over. And for those who will listen via the airwaves and possibly television and the internet, if you have any doubts, I invite you to visit Grand Fond, visit LaPlaine, visit Delis, Boetica, Monjon, or Rivière-Syriac, and see for yourself the level of development that is taking place within the southeast of Dominica. And friends, this afternoon I am elated because I remember quite distinctly, and I happen to be much younger than many here, but much older than many of you here this afternoon. I recall during Hurricane David, after the winds had subsided, we were all told to run to the school and the police station, and we went in the downstairs of the police station. Today, should there be, God forbid, a natural disaster in LaPlaine, it is impossible for the community to run to Charles Matthews' residence because there is not even adequate space to house the police officers who make there their residence. Today we are writing a new chapter in the history of LaPlaine and the Southeast. And this new chapter is written as a result of the commitment of the Dominica Labour Party to take care of the little man. That this Labour Party is not just a party of the bourgeois, a party of the white-collar folks, but it is a party of every Dominican. And when Dominican stands with the Labour Party will stand with Dominicans. Our eyes do not fall only on those who support us, but our eyes fall on all Dominicans. And today, we are reversing history in LaPlaine and the Southeast. And we are saying to you, you have waited long enough. We have waited long enough. Our wait is now bearing fruits. So I am delighted that the Cabinet of Dominica has recognized that LaPlaine, Delis, Boetica, the southeast of Dominica must enjoy a fair share of the pie of development. And I want to thank the Honorable Prime Minister. Of course, I know that here in Dominica people don't want us to be thankful. But the Bible forewarns us that if we are not thankful, we'll pay a great price. So I'm thankful to the Honorable Prime Minister and my cabinet colleagues for coming to the aid of the people of LaPlaine and the Southeast. And of course, I think here that I'm in a position to speak not just for the policemen who are resident here, but for those who were here before this group of officers. And to say thanks to the government of Dominica for recognizing that you are indeed worthy of proper dwellings in LaPlaine. Thank you very much. And God bless the Commonwealth of Dominica. God bless the residents of LaPlaine and the Southeast. And indeed, God bless the Commonwealth of Dominica.
We have the Jones Bopier School students to do a presentation here in song.
Dominique, tu, tu,
you know, I've been in the police service for in excess of 39 years. And over the last 10 years, we have had tremendous training, tremendous opportunity for development, capacity building. We have had a number of vehicles being given to the police service. In the last 10 years, I've seen more coming towards the police service in terms of, you know, equipment and material for our movement and upward mobility and our development. And so the pleasure is mine at this point in time to call on the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, to address us. Honorable Prime Minister.
Let me recognize the presence of my friend and colleague, Honorable Peter Seja, the Member of Parliament for LaPlaine and the Minister for Education. Also his wonderful wife, Mrs. Seja, Honorable Timothy, the Minister for Health, Honorable Dr. McIntyre, Minister for Trade, Honorable Johnson Drygo, the Member of Parliament for Castlebruce and the Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Public Works, my dear father, Father Favale, from Bakers. Father Favale must have spent in excess of 25 years or so in Bakers, a long time in Bakers as an FMI priest. Bakers in large measure was almost the headquarters of the FMI priest until we relinquished to the LaPlaine area. So you see, I know about my church. Let me also recognize the presence of the Chief of Police, Mr. Carbon, and the officers of the police force. I see with us the Chief Magistrate, Ms. Baptist, the Permanent Secretary and the Labour Commissioner of the Ministry of National Security and Immigration and Labour, the principal and staff and students of the Jones Beaupre Primary School, the chairperson of the Village Council, Mrs. Williams, and other councillors present, and to, of course, our Master of Ceremony, Officer Irish. Let me recognize all of you, the wonderful people of LaPlaine who are here present, all my wonderful friends who I see here this afternoon. I'm very happy to be here in LaPlaine. I always liken LaPlaine to Vegas. There are quite a bit of similarities in it. I see my friend there, the old police officer, Mr. Corbett, and I believe I saw Mr. Augustine, or former officer also, and all of you wonderful people there. I am very happy to be here this afternoon to be part of this very important ceremony, the groundbreaking for the construction of the new police station for LaPlaine and environment. As we speak, the Calibishi police station is under construction of a tune of over $3 million. And we just completed the Granby police station, which in large measure it was a good location for a hotel, but we decided to put a police station there with very much improved amenities for the police officers. And the Honorable Peter Seja spoke of the history behind the police station in LaPlaine. And it gives you a very clear understanding of what this Labour Party government inherited when it came into office in 2000. We inherited a very difficult state of affairs. We were not paying our debts. We were not paying as a country our deductions to the Social Security. As a matter of fact, we owed the DSS in excess of $25 million. And it was illegal on the part of the government to deduct monies from your salaries and not remit to the DSS. So in strict sense, the government of the time could have been arrested for not respecting the law. And it placed the DSS in some very difficult circumstances. And we had to pay the DSS in excess of $25 million. You recall the government was not able to pay its salaries on time. And oftentimes they would blame it on the breakdown of the system. The computer went bad and so forth and all sorts of things. But we knew that it was because we had no money in the country. When you would drive around Dominica, every single road in Dominica was in a terrible shape. And for even those of us who are from LaPlaine, and sometimes we talk about Peter is not doing anything and so forth, we knew of the conditions of the road inside LaPlaine, how terrible it was. With all of the boast, how much money there was between 1995 and 2000. Yet still, we were not delivering to the people in the manner in which we should have. And we're here today as part of a commitment to the residents of LaPlaine and environs. And for those in this country who want to aspire to lead this country, who believe that they want to go, they will go, and apparently they want to go soft on crimes, that's a matter for them and their conscience. But I believe that a government must treat with crime and criminals in a very serious and brazen manner. Because without security, you could have all of the riches, you could have all of the nice roads and the buildings. If we are not safe in our homes and our communities, it is of no value to us. And this is why, as Prime Minister of this country, I have taken a particular interest in the security of the country. And though things may be difficult from time to time in the country, financially, we will continue to make a commitment to the law enforcement authority to provide them with the resources which are required to fight crime. But the fighting of crime is not only a responsibility of the police and the government, it is a societal response and responsibility. Every one of us must play our part in fighting crime. I just listened to the news yesterday afternoon, and the news coming out of the BVI, where the authorities there are raising serious concerns about the security of the country. That people are not feeling secure as they should. And if we are afraid to go out to the beaches, and we're afraid to go out to the waterfalls, the Victoria Falls, and we're afraid to walk at night in our community, something is wrong. And I believe the presence of the police station in LaPlaine is going to be important for the security of our citizens and our visitors alike. Because anytime visitors are going to decide on going on a vacation somewhere, they go and they read the CIA report that is on the website to see how secure that country is. And you'll often hear the US and the British and the Canadians in particular sending out advisories on countries. If these governments feel that the safety of their citizens are not guaranteed if they travel to those countries. And these things can have a damning impact on your economy. Because if people are not going to come to your country, you are not able to get the foreign exchange you require to create jobs in the economy. And people may say, well, in New York it might be more dangerous than in Dominica, but in terms of per capita, you understand, a population of 70 or so thousand people, if you have 1 crime or 5 crimes in this country and you have 50 in New York, you can't compare it because of the land space. And therefore, we have to continue to play our part in fighting crime. The government has gone to the parliament on numerous occasions to introduce new legislation and to amend existing legislation to provide the requisite support to the police officers and to the courts and to the prosecution in ensuring that we can deter crime. But that notwithstanding, you will always have people who will want to venture out of the ambit of the law. And this is why it's important for us to assist the police in their efforts. Because we will criticize the police from time to time as citizens. But if we do not support their work, we are making their task even more difficult, because somebody would have seen the crime, or somebody would have always heard about what happened in a particular locality where a crime was committed. And as insignificant as you may think the information is, it's important that you pass it on to the police so they could look at it and examine whether it is pertinent to the investigations. So we're here this afternoon to break ground for the $3.2 million facility. And as I say, people will say, well, why doesn't Scary spend the money on roads? Why doesn't it spend the money on this? Why doesn't it spend the money on that? But anytime a murder happens in our community, we blame the police and we blame the Prime Minister. Oftentimes the Prime Minister. And when there was no police station, it was an issue. You are building a police station, it is becoming an issue also in the community. So whether you do or you don't, there will always be criticisms. It is a matter for us as a government to, in discussions with the people of Dominica, to know what Dominican people want. And I'm satisfied that the majority of residents of LaPlaine have been calling for this police station for a very long time, and they're happy that it is here today. I have heard talk of people asking us to boycott Independence Day celebration. Yes. And calling on parents and children. Why should we get children involved in matters like this? But it's interesting, somebody asked on the 1:15 news this afternoon, well, let us say perchance, God forbid, you were to become the government of the country. That won't happen, but hypothetically speaking. Would you, as the government, boycott the independence celebration because of His Excellency the President, Mr. Charles Salk? Would you boycott it? So people utter things without really thinking before they speak. It is just to put themselves in the news as having said something. That's something that is adding nothing to the way of life of our people. Something that will not address the issue of unemployment confronting our people. Something that will not address the challenges confronting farmers of our country. They have no plans, they have no interest, they have no concern about people who are struggling and who need help. We're going to Parliament next week, and all of their fanfare and all these things, there is not one question on the other paper that deals with the issues confronting our citizens in Dominica. There is not one issue about education. There's not one issue about education. There's not one issue about how can we work together towards improving the housing conditions of our people. There's nothing about how can we work together towards reducing poverty in the country. There's not one question about employment opportunities for citizens. So it tells you, my dear friends in LaPlaine and this constituency and Dominica by extension, that the only people who are charged or who have left with the needs of the country is the government. And in many parts of the world, opposition and governments work together to address issues. We may not agree on all issues, but you sometimes listen hoping that you could get an idea from them, that you could explore further, analyze further, and if it makes sense for chance, you would implement it because it would benefit the citizens of the country. And I am happy that the youth, I am happy that the churches, and I'm happy that individual citizens have come out in condemnation of the call to boycott our youth rallies and our independence celebration. Because someone made the point that, look, our teachers spend all of these hours in the classroom teaching our children about civic responsibility, respect for authority, respect for the rule of law, respect for each other's differences, tolerance, patience, kindness, love. And this opposition is bent on creating anarchy, division, and discord in this country. But you see, they can try, but there is a comforting fact that the Lord is on our side and they will not succeed in their efforts. And I want to thank you here in LaPlaine for standing on the right side of the development of Dominica. Because we will have differences, all of us will have differences. But at the end of the day, our ambition, our goal and our objective should be to improve the lives of the people of Dominica. And it is not easy. You saw what happened in America. They were shut down for several days in America. People did not go to work for several weeks. They didn't get paid. And it even took members of the Republican Party in the Senate to say to their colleagues in the House of Representatives that enough is enough and we need to find a solution to the impasse between ourselves and the White House. So while there were Republicans in the House of Representatives leading the charge for the shutdown of the US government, the senators decided, let us come together as Republicans and Democrats because our people are hurting and we have to put a stop to it. So we are here, and this money is a loan contracted from the Dominica Social Security. And the loan was also contracted to construct the Calibishi police station because as Minister of Finance and Prime Minister, I felt that we had to once and for all address the issue of the non-presence of police stations in those two communities. And we're not building a police station in LaPlaine because we feel that LaPlaine is not a safe place. LaPlaine is in fact a safe place. But you always need the law enforcement present in the event something were to happen, or to prevent things from happening. And I will continue as Prime Minister to continue leading the charge for a safer Dominica. And we have extraordinary relationships with the British, the French, the Dutch, and the Americans, whom I interact with on a regular basis. And those partnerships will continue to be strengthened because their assistance is critical to providing a greater security for our country. And it is at the highest level that we continue to cooperate and ensure that the resources that they have available can be shared with us towards creating a safer Dominica and indeed a safer Caribbean. And I want all of us to stand in condemnation to this drug trade. And this drug trade bringing guns into our country, and guns are responsible for a number of criminal activities in our country. And if you put guns in people who should, it will have in people who should not have guns. And you have 50, 60, 70 people in LaPlaine have guns illegally, you can understand the danger. Because at any one time, 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 of them may discharge this firearm. And we would have been at the wrong place at the wrong time. And therefore it's important for us to put our voices together and have a very loud echo on our commitment as a citizen, as a country, to stand in defiance and in condemnation of any illegal activity in the country. But the police will tell you that drug-related crimes are the major concern for them. And of course, with drug, you have use of firearms. And there are still many illegal firearms in this country that we have to continue efforts towards locating and destroying. I want to commend the efforts of the former Minister for National Security, Mr. Honorable Charles Savary. Well, then he was Honorable, now he's His Excellency. So things have changed fast, eh? I want to recognize his efforts. And also the Member of Parliament. I can tell you, because I have the authority to speak about cabinet discussions, he cannot do that unless I tell him to do that. But I can do so on my own action. That he, almost every cabinet meeting, demanded answers from the Minister of National Security and the Minister of Public Works in respect to this police station. And I believe it was a noble thing to do, to continue to champion for the security of your residents. And I want to commend publicly the efforts of Honorable Peter Sejan, the Member of Parliament of the state. And people can say what they want sometimes. Oh, they don't like Peter's style, he's too abrasive, he's not like a school principal and so forth, and all these things and so forth. At the end of it, it is about results. And this is a man who stands firm, he walks straight, and he has a passion and a commitment to his citizens of the LaPlaine constituency. And I am saying to those who think otherwise, that they must chronicle the challenges which were confronting LaPlaine when Peter Sejan became the Member of Parliament, and see what he has done in the short term. Because Peter has not been Parliament for 15 years, you know. He only came in 2000. And if they did not take these foolish cases, in 2009, sorry, they did not take these foolish cases and couldn't distract people and so on, there would have been even more things happening inside LaPlaine. And as the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, I give a commitment that we will continue to assist the development of LaPlaine. A lot has been done, but there's still a lot more to be done. But with your prayers, with your support, and with your commitment, we will overcome those prevailing challenges. And I have no doubt that we have the increased support of the residents of this constituency to continue the efforts. And I look forward to being back in 47 weeks. And I want to say to the contractor that it is important that you empower the residents of LaPlaine. We have many skilled people here. So I'm hoping that we do not import workers from out of this constituency, that we can employ as many trained people who would be able to earn a living over the next 47 weeks during the construction of this police station. Because it is important that we all own this police station. And we can all of us say that we made a contribution in one way or the other towards the completion and construction of this police station. So I look forward to coming back here in 47 weeks as Prime Minister to commission the new police station and other developments in this constituency. I want to say to you, in respect to my friends from Davis, I know that there's a section of the road that's bad, that instructions have been given by myself to the Ministry of Public Works, as you heard me say publicly a couple weeks ago, to effect the repairs to this road from Davis all the way back to Petit Savan. And I remain committed to that, and we will see a much improved roadway. I want to say finally to our young people, that it's important that you take advantage of your education. You need to study. Education is important. We have all been told that education is the key to success. In order for you to move on in life, you must attain a solid and strong education. The government has not only been able to provide you with opportunities to attend school, or the space at the school. We're paying the bus fares for all of you to attend the school in Rosa. And we also, in many cases, provided uniforms and school books free of charge to the parents. Every child who has sat the National Assessment Exam received $500 from the government to purchase uniform and other things to attend school. The state college students, we are providing tuition payments to you. My advice to you and my prayer is that you take advantage of the opportunities. Do not tell your parents that you are in fact going to school in town when you are lineman outside of your classroom. It is our responsibility as a government, the Minister of Education responsibility, and my responsibility as Prime Minister, to ensure that we can create the spaces for you, provide you with the resources that you require to attend school. It is your responsibility and that of your parents to ensure that you study your books and you do well. And the opportunities are there. It is left to us to take advantage of it. we should not let our children be on the side of the streets when in fact they should be at school. It is a personal decision that each of us must make as parents and the wider community. I want to thank you for listening to me this afternoon, and I will thank you for being here this afternoon to witness this very important project. $3.2 million in a difficult period is not something that any one of us, any one of you, should take for granted. We need to thank the Lord for providing us with the resources to effect this very important project. And I look again to its timely completion and to the engagement of as many young people from this village who will participate in the construction of this important project. I want to thank you again for listening to me and to commend all of us for working towards this reality. I want to recognize the efforts of the permanent secretary in the Ministry of National Security, Mr. Bruno, for his efforts in getting us here today. And I wish the contractor well. The money is there, so do not come and say that you haven't gotten paid and that's why work is slowing down. We'll ensure that, I'm sure you must have gotten your advance already. If not, I'm sure you'll get it as soon as we break ground. But your advance will be made available to you. There's a schedule of payments. Once you submit your certificates and they're certified as required in law, then your payments will be made through Treasury. The money is in a special account, $3.2 million. So I don't want anybody to say, well, the people haven't gotten paid because the contractors say he hasn't gotten paid, which is normally an excuse that contractors use across Dominica. They put all the money in the bank and then they're hoping that they'll get money later on to pay contractors. But I know Henderson is not like that, so I must say so in general that the money is there to be paid and he will get paid on a timely basis. My hope is that as much of the 3.2 can remain in LaPlaine as possible. Thank you very much and God bless you.